What a potter he is over there. I'm glad I'll be too old when he's dominating a game, but I got nothing but admiration for what he's done, come through the qualifiers. Haven't played for 2 years, come through the qualifiers, bashed Ronnie up, bashed me up, bashed everybody up. What can you say? There's a new superstar of the game and he's over there.
Mark Williams isn't the type to hand out compliments, but when he does, people pay attention. After decades of battling the best, he's now pointing to a young Chinese talent who could be the future face of the sport. So who is this rising star? And why is everyone suddenly turning their attention to China's snooker scene? Mark Williams didn't hold back after his loss to Zhao Xintong in the World Snooker Championship final on May the 5th. As he reflected on the 18-12 defeat, he couldn't help but draw a comparison between Zhao and darts prodigy Luke Littler, making it clear that Zhao's rise to the top was nothing short of impressive. Zhao, who had already sent Ronnie O'Sullivan packing in the semi-finals, was in complete control in the final. By the time they started the last session, Zhao was sitting on a commanding 17-8 lead, just one frame away from victory. Williams fought back though, pulling off 4 straight frames to keep his hopes alive. But once the mid-session interval passed, Zhao took the 30th frame and sealed his place in history as the first player from Asia to win the World Championship.
And there he is with the flag of China, an historic first for that country. They produced so many talented players. We thought Ding Junhui might be the first world champion from China, but it's this man, 28-year-old Zhao Xintong, only the 3rd qualifier to triumph here.
Despite the loss, Williams was in good spirits, and when talking about Zhao, he had nothing but praise. The 50-year-old remarked that Zhao's victory could be a game-changer for snooker, potentially opening the doors for a new talent from across the globe. He acknowledged Zhao's resilience, pointing out that the Chinese player had been out of action for 2 years, but came back and dominated not just the qualifiers, but the main tournament as well. It was an unbelievable achievement, in Williams' words. Williams went on to say that there's no shortage of admiration for Zhao. He emphasized that everyone in the snooker world needs to rally behind him and keep an eye on what he's capable of. In fact, Williams believed that Zhao could go on to dominate the game, or at the very least, give Judd Trump and Kyron Wilson a run for their money. After a 20-month ban for betting violations and getting caught up in a match-fixing scandal, most people expected Zhao's return to be slow, quiet, maybe even awkward. Instead, he arrived at the Crucible as an unseeded amateur, worked his way through the tough qualifiers, and went on to win the entire championship. By the time he reached the final, Zhao was in full beast mode. But even after clinching that last frame, he stood there in disbelief. He admitted the whole thing still felt unreal. The pressure was immense, and every shot felt like a make-or-break moment. He knew one mistake could let Mark Williams storm back, so he simply didn't mess up. When the match ended and he shook Mark's hand, Zhao said he almost cried. Not just because he won, but because he knew what it meant for his country and for everyone who counted him out. He still doesn't know how he played so well under the lights. 1 year ago, he was banned. Now, he's the world champion. Even he can't believe the timeline. He hoped to do well, sure, but winning this soon, he didn't see that coming. Mark Williams was gracious after his loss to Zhao Xintong in the World Snooker Championship final. But when it came to whether Zhao could ever match Ronnie O'Sullivan's record of 23 Triple Crown titles, he wasn't exactly convinced. Williams acknowledged Zhao's brilliant performance, but made it clear that catching up to O'Sullivan's legendary status would be no easy feat. Zhao was on fire throughout the tournament. After battling his way through the qualifiers, he quickly dispatched Jack Jones, Li Paifan, and Chris Waitlin. In the semi-finals, he absolutely dominated O'Sullivan with a 17-7 win. Then, in the final against Williams, Zhao stayed focused, clinching an 18-12 victory despite a late comeback from the Welshman. This win marked Zhao's 2nd Triple Crown title, adding to his UK Championship win in 2021. This comeback was especially sweet, considering he had been banned from snooker for 20 months before returning to the sport. Now he's back, and better than ever. Zhao's next chance to claim another Triple Crown title won't come until November, with the UK Championship set to kick off in York. 7 months is a long time to wait, but it'll give him plenty of time to reflect on his incredible run in Sheffield, if he's not too busy preparing for his next big challenge. As for Mark Williams, he's no stranger to Triple Crown glory, having won several of them in his career. However, it's been since 2018 that he last added a new one to his trophy shelf. In fact, the current all-time leader is Ronnie O'Sullivan, with his jaw-dropping 23 titles. Right behind him is Stephen Hendry with 18, while Steve Davis sits at 15. John Higgins and Mark Selby have also made their marks with 9 titles each. But Zhao's performance in Sheffield has left a lot of people, including Williams, convinced that he could be the next big thing in snooker. In fact, Williams said that Zhao's play reminds him of a young Ronnie O'Sullivan, calling it almost as good to watch. His ability to rattle off a quick 65 in just a couple of minutes is nothing short of frightening. But Zhao Xintong isn't the only Chinese player who could soon be running the show. After feeling the full force of Zhao's impressive form at the Crucible, Williams is well aware that the talent coming out of China is more than just a one-man show. And he's not just talking about Zhao. Williams also gave a shout-out to his first-round opponent, Wu Yitze, and other Asian players making waves in the sport. Williams pointed out how many top-level players there are now from China. He couldn't help but be impressed by the number of them at the World Championship. He mentioned that these players, including his first-round opponent Wu, are all unbelievable potters. Wu might not be quite at Zhao's level yet, but he's not far behind either, knocking in some incredible pots that left Williams shaking his head in disbelief. Wu, who was named the World Snooker Tour's Rookie of the Year in 2022, has already made his mark, reaching the Scottish Open final in December and qualifying for the World Championship by beating former finalist Matthew Stevens. He's only 21, but he's already turning heads. Williams admitted that he was almost lulled into a false sense of security by the fearless play of both Zhao and Wu. These guys go for some seriously high-risk shots that make you think, is that even possible? But it's not just Zhao and Wu making noise in snooker. Zhao Gudong, Zhang Anda, and Lei Paifan have all bagged ranking titles this season. Se Zhehui, who's just 22, reached the quarterfinals in Sheffield, showing he's got the chops to compete with the best, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Zhao's victory in the World Championship made him the first ever player from China and Asia to win the prestigious title. The only other player from Asia to have been ranked number 1 in the world was Ding Junhui, who held the spot back in 2014. With Zhao's triumph, it seems clear that snooker is witnessing the rise of a new generation of players who could dominate the sport for years to come. And as Williams says, who knows? The future might just be all about the potting power of Chinese players. And that's a wrap on today's video. Do you think Zhao Xintong is the future of snooker, or is it too soon to call? Let us know what you think in the comments below.